In LA this week,
the first of two memorial services to say goodbye to beloved former LA City Councilman Bill Rosendahl, dead at the age of 70. I'm Gil Reyes with the story next.
I'm Anna Marcos. An announcement by city leaders on the Sierra snowpack and what it means for LA's water usage coming up.
And community members go bald for St. Baldricks. The story coming up. Hello, and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. Well, he was a beloved fixture in LA city politics, and many of his friends and family came to say goodbye and remember former city councilman Bill Rosendahl, who died following a 4-year battle with cancer. Gil Reyes has more.
A memorial service at St. Monica Catholic Church for former Los Angeles City Councilman Bill Rosendahl. Rosendahl's brother Tom attended, so did elected leaders past and present. They remembered the gregarious politician's accepting nature and how he opened his home to everyone. Rich or poor, it didn't matter.
I mean, you could go to Billy's house and see a billionaire and a homeless person there, and Billy holding court.
Rosendahl passed away on March 30th after a long bout with cancer. He was 70 years old. He served 8 years on the LA City Council, championing the underdog.
Anybody marginalized had a seat at his conference room to talk to him. He hugged everyone he met. He saw that there was an intrinsic dignity in every single person.
He did everything he could to get me off the street, and it resulted in my housing, which I'm in to this day, 6 years now. And also Bill, who in my hard times, he would answer the phone every time I would call. Never went to voicemail, never.
Long before elected office, the Vietnam-era Army veteran was already making waves. As an activist and cable TV talk show host, he wasn't afraid to ask local leaders the tough questions.
Like Mayor Villaraigosa, he gave me a couple grillings to start us off. And then, miraculously, he chose public service.
And he was able to take that celebrity and bring it to politics with a flair. And I don't know if we'll ever see that again.
Rosendahl was also the first openly gay elected city council member, championing LGBT rights from within City Hall before it was mainstream.
He made it possible for elected officials who were slow in coming to the LGBT cause. He educated them not in a pedantic way, but in a loving way, and got them to come over to his point of view.
He was against war, but he loved the veterans. And I just didn't know anyone that had that big of a heart.
Oh, and I was glad I was able to see him on the Saturday before he died and visit with him many times, and I loved him, and we're going to see him up in that heaven one day.
In lieu of flowers, the public was asked instead to make donations to one of Bill Rosendahl's favorite causes, helping the homeless. In Santa Monica, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
You can still make donations in memory of Bill Rosendahl. Some of his favorite charities included Safe Place for Youth, New Directions for Veterans, also the Jeff Griffith Youth Center for Gays and Lesbians. Well, there's good news and bad news when it comes to LA's water prognosis this year. Yes, the Sierra snowpack level is higher, but can we relax when it comes to conserving water? City leaders say no way. Anna Marcos has more.
What do you do when you want to save water and not get rid of your water-guzzling historic toilet? Put a mason jar inside the tank.
You can see where we put the mason jar. Right here, we filled it with water and then we put it in to displace the water so that the level doesn't have to come up as high.
Patty Lombard, a huge water conservationist, has opened her Mid-Wilshire home to city leaders and the media as city leaders announce new Sierra snowpack findings and what they mean for Angelino water usage.
snowpack statewide is near our annual average, and that's great news for our state, for our economy, and for our environment. But we all know that the drought itself is far from over.
Angelenos have cut their water use by 19%, which puts us well on the way to the city's goal of cutting water use by 20% by 2017. But city leaders say it's no time to slack off.
But we know we can slip backwards. People can start taking longer showers, start watering more often, not get those fixtures replaced that you're going to. My message is keep the momentum going.
And as for that hefty snowpack in the north, while the southern Sierra, from which LA gets much of its water, has not fared as well. The Southland is still thirsty for water.
It's no longer something that's a throwaway commodity that we can afford to throw away. We have to conserve it.
City leaders hope more Angelenos become as water efficient as Lombard. She makes sure her plumbing is free of leaks, has an energy efficient washer and dryer, low flow aerators on her faucets and shower heads. The native oak trees on her lawn need no water. She even waters her garden less.
We really do feel compelled to be stewards of the environment, and it's wonderful to be able to live here, but we have to make it sustainable.
The LA Department of Water and Power wants to make it easy to get water smart. Many of the smaller low-flow devices are free, and water usage audits are also free. Residents can get rebates for everything from replacing their turf to installing rain barrels, low-flow toilets, and washing machines. More water users are realizing it pays off to save on water bills, the environment, and LA's precious water. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Well, most LADWP payment centers give away faucet and showerhead aerators for free. And for more information on rebates and ways to conserve water, contact LADWP.com. Well, the mayor hands out his annual Innovation Award to innovators in LA's building boom. Gil Reyes has details from downtown. Gil.
Yes, Yana, city officials say this inspection case management system has been around for about a year now and is helping to speed up around 130 building projects throughout the city of Los Angeles, including the massive Wilshire Grand Tower you see right behind me. Once completed, it will be the tallest building west of the Mississippi at 1,100 feet tall.
On behalf of the fire department, accept this, Chief Terrasas.
Thank you.
This year's Civic Innovation Awards are given to several city agencies, simplifying the construction inspection process.
And what did it cost us? Absolutely nothing. Just better management.
City leaders say the inspection case management system speeds up construction by up to 40%. Before it launched a little over a year ago, problems like fire and building hazards would require multiple calls to multiple inspectors.
Now you have one coordinator who actually coordinates all those inspections for you. And if there's any troubleshooting that's necessary, that coordinator in effect will troubleshoot the project with all these inspectors rather than you going to each of them individually.
David Lara of the Department of Building and Safety says 95% of projects using this system are on schedule. Before it launched, the number was 20%. Chris Martin from the Wilshire Grand Tower project says his skyscraper will open on time in March 2017. At 1,100 feet, Wilshire Grand will be the tallest building in the western United States.
This is phenomenal. It takes real teamwork from the development community, building and safety, fire department, all the agencies. And we are going to hit that date, and that is unheard of.
But not everyone is cheering. The AIDS Healthcare Foundation is pursuing a ballot measure to delay construction of LA high-rises. The group says the buildings are squeezing out the poor. The mayor disagrees.
We need more units at every level, and we need to subsidize more for low-income residents of Los Angeles. But a building moratorium won't help us make the city more affordable. What we need to do is, I hope people will support, whether it's the AIDS Healthcare Foundation or others, my linkage fee proposal to say when you build something, you should put some money aside for affordable units.
The sky's the limit as LA's building boom continues. Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The new system is staffed by members of the DWP, City Fire Department, and the Department of Building and Safety. While the number of women contractors and women in power positions in LA is growing. One workshop and panel, put on by Mayor Garcetti's office and several women's organizations, aims to help female entrepreneurs become certified to work the big city contracts. Anna Marcos explains.
Think your female-owned business is too small or too far out to ride with the big city honchos and corporations? Think again.
That you just never know what corporations may be looking for. I remember getting a call from a corporation asking me for a company or a business that was able to produce worms.
This panel, called Should You Become Certified as a Women-Owned Business in Los Angeles, gives female entrepreneurs free help on how to compete and get certified for those big city contracts.
I know that certainly it's something that I need to have to make me more competitive as I move forward.
Well, it was great to hear them say, here are the steps, here's what you do, here's what's important.
The business climate here has never been better for women. Mayor Eric Garcetti's administration is pushing to get more women involved in city contracts and in city positions.
We recognize that appointing women to commissions and key commission appointments is critical to how we're actually going to close a lot of the leadership gaps that we have.
Among all 41 boards and commissions in the city, there are a lot, women now hold 54% of all appointed positions.
We stand for women's empowerment, women's development, women's leadership, and entrepreneurial skill building.
So the motto seems to be, go out there and make some worms or something and get into business with the big guys. These ladies are ready to show you how. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
If you want to find out more, contact Claire Berryman at the city's Office of Contract Compliance. Just dial 311. Well, African-American leaders are honored for expanding opportunities for minority-owned businesses. Gil Reyes reports from a special ceremony at the Downtown Marriott.
It's my great pleasure to present you with the Chairman's Award. Deborah Flint, ladies and gentlemen.
LA Mayor Eric Garcetti presents one of the night's biggest awards to the head of Los Angeles World Airports. They're the operators of LAX.
Our dedication to inclusion of local, small, and diverse business is such a paramount goal and principle.
LAWA Executive Director Deborah Flint is overseeing an $8.5 billion renovation at the airport, one that's said to emphasize local hiring and inclusion of more small, minority-owned businesses. For that, she's honored at this year's Greater Los Angeles African-American Chamber of Commerce dinner in downtown. Other awardees include Inglewood Mayor James Butts. He's instrumental in bringing Rams football back to Los Angeles County. Also honored is Phil Washington. The CEO of Metro's rail and bus systems hopes to score big by teaming with LAWA to build more transportation options to LAX. LAWA's Deborah Flint calls this a winning game plan. She comes to us from the Bay Area.
We still love our Golden State Warriors because they do believe in strength in numbers. There's strength in numbers in this room tonight, and I love
LA. We're gonna have to take it off the stage now.
Well, at least they agree on transportation upgrades and possibly cheering on the Rams when they get here. Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Other honorees of the night included DWP board member William Funderburk and South Coast Air Quality Management Chairman William Burke. Well, Harry Potter fans, prepare for magic as Universal Studios in Hollywood unveils its new Wizarding World of Harry Potter attraction. Anna Marcos takes us there.
The lights go up to reveal a place of magic as the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and its Hogwarts School of Witchcraft makes its grand debut at Universal Studios. The attraction is based on the Harry Potter books and movies. Now city leaders hope Harry Potter and his Gryffindors, Hufflepuffs, Ravenclaws, and Slytherins cast a spell on Angelinos and tourists alike.
Incendio!
And there were plenty of magic spells going around as celebrities and stars of the Harry Potter movies walked the red carpet.
My favorite is Wingardium Leviosa, which is the charm for levitation.
You know, this is phenomenal for Los Angeles. We had a record number of visitors last year, 45.5 million people. That means money spent in our economy, and we think as much as 1 million more people will come simply because of this one attraction.
The wizarding world of Harry Potter has already drawn record crowds in Osaka, Japan, and Orlando, Florida, where it opened earlier.
You know, I'm not surprised. I mean, Harry Potter is universally loved by millions and millions of people around the world.
I don't think there's like a limit to how far Harry Potter can go, because I think people just love it.
So when my kids need a Harry Potter fix, we don't have to go to Osaka or Orlando. It's a much closer drive from La Cañada.
Anywhere else, it's a roller coaster. Here it's called the Flight of the Hippogriff, after a magical flying creature in the Harry Potter movies. So drink your witch's brew, butterbeer, and hang on for a magical journey. Oh, and a magic light show doesn't hurt. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Universal Studios, by the way, has had a makeover with 75% new attractions, including a soon-to-open Walking Dead attraction. Well, April is Volunteer Appreciation Month, and the LAPD is making a big push to attract more reserve officers. Gil Reyes has part 1 of a special volunteer series on how the department is switching its training schedule to accommodate and recruit one specific community.
The Sabbath. It's the holiest day of the week for the Jewish faith, a time for family. It also means no driving, no working, and no classes that day for Orthodox Jews interested in volunteer police training. The LAPD's West Bureau has the largest concentration of Orthodox Jews in Los Angeles.
You have the La Brea area, you have the Pico Robertson area, where you just have a very established large community with dozens of temples. And this was a good opportunity to get them involved where they, until right now, they could not get involved.
Chaplain Newman says what has hindered recruitment of Jewish reserve officers in the past is that training days typically fall on Saturdays. Saturday is the Jewish Sabbath, so that means that those training days are out for many of the faithful. So why not switch training days to Sundays instead?
And so we're going to change that so we can embrace the entire community of Los Angeles and get a very, very significant increase in our reserves.
LAPD Chief Charlie Beck announces the launch of the city's first all-Jewish Reserve Academy class. Instruction will take place on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Sundays instead of traditional Saturdays. The department is trying to boost the number of reserve officers. Currently, it has around 400 reserves. The goal is 2,000.
Yes, there is a slight rise in crime, and certainly one of the things that we need is more people out on patrol. And this is one of the ways that the department believes that it can reduce crime.
LAPD reservists are non-paid, part-time, sworn officers. They oftentimes volunteer in between the real jobs. They also carry guns. And in uniform, the average person cannot tell the difference between them and full-time officers. The Reserve Corps was created during World War II, when many LAPD officers went off to war, leaving job vacancies back here at home. Today, reserves are required to volunteer at least 16 hours a month. They also undergo the same strict background checks, polygraph tests, and physical exams as full-time officers. At the LAPD Wilshire Station, members of the Jewish faith fill the room on this first day of orientation. Chaplain Newman had spread the message on Facebook that training days were switching, and the response has been positive.
I'm humbled. I feel as the room gets fuller and fuller, I keep feeling smaller and smaller.
Attorney Ari Friedman says switching days to Sundays means he and others in his congregation can finally volunteer after years of thinking about it.
We don't get into the car, we don't make phone calls, we don't turn lights on Sabbath. So for Sunday, it's an option.
But the LAPD admits the reserve program is not for everyone. Only 1 out of every 100 applicants makes it through training. Also a possible hindrance for Jewish men, the LAPD does not allow beards for safety reasons. Mark Friedman would have to stop growing his.
I would have to think it over because it is for some religious reasons, and I would have to discuss it with my wife, maybe with my rabbis.
But for others in the room?
I can speak for the Jewish community. There's a concept of tikkun olam, which is making your world a better place. And this is how can you make your world a better place than being out there in your own community and keeping your own community safe.
From the Jewish communities surrounding the LAPD's West Bureau, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The LAPD plans to target other communities to build its reserve force to 2,000 officers strong. Well, the North Hollywood community came out in full force recently to brave the shave and make a bold statement in support of some very brave kids. Amir Zargar is taking the plunge and shaving his thick head of hair. He says it's all worth it as he bids farewell to his long, lush mane.
It's for a good cause, and to be honest, I don't really need the hair. I think donating the hair to someone who can use it better, someone with cancer, and I think it's a good cause.
Amir is one of several dozen community members who came out to get their heads shaven to benefit the St. Baldricks Foundation, a volunteer organization that raises funds for children's cancer research.
I just wanted to support kids that have cancer.
Matthew and his dad, Greg, who's an LAFD firefighter, also got the bald treatment. Greg says they make it a family tradition.
This is a worthwhile cause, and every year, me and my son, Matthew, we come here, we participate, and we have a great time.
The 14th annual event, which took place at Fire Station 89 in North Hollywood, is put on each year by members of the Los Angeles Fire and Police Departments. And even Police Chief Charlie Beck shaved a few heads.
It's a very, very tough thing for a family to have a young person struck with cancer, and to get a little hope and a little sunshine in that time is a great thing.
St. Baldricks has put on this event for the past 14 years all across the country. This year, the foundation has reached a milestone, surpassing the $1 million mark in donations, which will help provide medical advancements in childhood cancer research.
The St. Baldrick's, besides the U.S. government, is the second largest source of funding for childhood cancer research, and that's why it's so important for us to come out here and just make a difference in children's lives.
St. Baldrick's hopes to continue the tradition, providing hope and one day a cure for all children's cancer. Well, it's official. California Governor Jerry Brown signs legislation to gradually raise the minimum wage. A couple of community members get special recognition for giving back, and the Runyon Canyon hiking trail is now closed, but there are some options for hikers. All these stories in City Beat. In front of a crowd of legislators, union leaders, and workers who've been fighting for increased salaries, California Governor Jerry Brown signed legislation in downtown LA that will raise the state's minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2022. Brown, during a ceremony at the Ronald Reagan State Building, said the passage of SB 3 doesn't mark the end of the struggle for livable wages, but it's a big step in the right direction.
Economically, minimum wages may not make sense, but morally and socially and politically, they make every sense because it binds the community together and makes sure that parents can take care of their kids in a much more satisfactory way.
LA Mayor Eric Garcetti issued a statement applauding the move, saying California leads the nation once again. Millions of Californians can now reach the American dream. Uber recently held its first work-on-demand event at Crenshaw United Methodist Church as part of its 12-month effort to recruit thousands of drivers from LA. District 8 Council member Marquise Harris Dawson was on hand to show his support. One Uber driver said working for the company has not only helped him financially, but
you know, it's not a grind like you get a second job and you have to change your mindset to go from one job to the next. For me, it doesn't do that. Just get in the car, push a button, and do what I have to do.
The Board of Public Works recently recognized a couple of neighborhood council Clean Street heroes for their exceptional leadership, support, and engagement with community cleanups. One college student was chosen for her cleanup efforts in Wilmington.
The award is just motivation to keep going, motivation to keep doing cleanups, to keep working in the community and empowering people to create change.
The popular hiking trail Runyon Canyon is now officially closed until July 31st to accommodate repair work on a roughly 1-mile stretch of a 6-inch Department of Water and Power water pipe. In the meantime, hikers can use other nearby trails, including Franklin or Fryman Canyon Parks, Hollywood Reservoir, or Willacre Park. traditional and fine art paintings go on display for the month of April, help celebrate Record Store Day as it shines the spotlight on independent record stores across the country, and LA street artists help transform a neighborhood alley into an art gallery. All this in this week's Things to Do. The California Art Club will present its 105th annual gold medal exhibition at the Artry Museum of the American West. The display of more than 200 contemporary to traditional fine art paintings and sculptures pays tribute to the pioneering artists who founded the organization in 1909 and inspired California Impressionism, the first artistic movement to be defined as uniquely Californian. The exhibiting artists employ classical fine art techniques to create works that push the boundaries and explore topical imagery and messages. The exhibition runs from April 3rd to the 24th at the Artry Museum located at 4700 Western Heritage Way. For more, visit californiaartclub.org. Record Store Day is an annual event founded in 2007 held on the third Saturday of April each year to celebrate the culture of the independently owned record store. The day brings together fans, artists, and thousands of independent record stores across the world. A number of records are pressed specifically for Record Store Day and are only distributed to shops participating in the event. This year, Record Store Day is on Saturday, April 16th. To find out which stores near you are participating, visit recordstoreday.com. Over 80 murals canvass the alleyways, stairways, dumpsters, gated fences, and garage doors of historic Filipino town. Known as the GABA Arts District, this dynamic neighborhood has attracted emerging and well-known street artists from across Los Angeles and around the world. Join in as the tour treks through the alleys of the GABA Arts District with curator and Alley Project founder Jason Ostro. Enjoy a walking tour and meet several of the artists, learn more about the history of the project, and discover how it's transformed the community. The tour takes place on April 16th at the GABA Gallery located at 3126 Beverly Boulevard. For details, visit atlasobscura.com. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacitybeview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.